Well, it may be winter outside, but Disney Cruise Line has released itineraries for the summer 2026. We're going to give you all the details today on the DIS Unlimited's DCL Show. Hello and welcome to the DIS Unlimited's DCL Show. I'm Chris Forbeck. I'm one of the agents at Dreams Unlimited Travel. Thank you so much for joining us. We are today dreaming of Europe, wondering about the magic of Alaska, even wishing for the Bahamas. You see what I did there? Subtle, right? For those of us who do this for a living, we've been on the edge of our seat with anticipation about Disney Cruise Line's summer 2026 itineraries. And it's interesting. We always get a little bit of sense when it's going to be, they're going to come out. Frankly, you start reaching out to us first. That's when we first getting indications. But the real sign is, well, Disney Cruise Line's reservation system, it gets a little wonky. Confirmations are delayed. The system's a little slow. And that's always a good sign that they're doing something on the back end. And sure enough, we have new itineraries. And we're going to tell you all about which ship is going where, why now is the best time to book your Disney cruise. Yes, even more than a year in advance. I know it seems crazy, but we're going to tell you about how to go about doing that and even the ins and outs so you can do that as efficiently as possible. But first, let me introduce the Dreams team, the Brain Trust, who have been parsing through all these new itineraries, joining us for this discussion. My colleague and Dreams Unlimited travel agent, Elaine Edwards. Hello, Elaine.
Hi, friends.
Dreams Unlimited travel agent and one of the people behind our Dreams Spanish website, See Disney, Federico Argar. Hello, Federico.
Hola, hola. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. And of course, we have a rock star producer, Jimmy Valdez. He's playing Wizard of Oz behind the scenes today. We won't see him. Normally I show him, but we won't see him today. But trust me, he's back there doing all the magic to make even this face look good. So there you go. We are going to start with which ships are going where. But before we do that, as they used to say, first a word from our sponsor, this show, along with everything we do at the DIS and DIS Unlimited. Well, it's brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. We are experts at helping you plan a magical Disney cruise, a visit to a magical Disney theme park, your Universal adventure, Universal Epic Universe coming soon. Woo! And even other even other cruise lines aside from Disney. There's no additional cost to book with Dreams Unlimited Travel, none. And we're going to give you insights about your Disney trip, Disney cruise, whatever you're doing. We're going to let you know what you need to know before you get there. And by booking your cruise with Dreams Unlimited Travel, we get you a shipboard credit of up to $1,000, depending on the price of your cruise. I know you always hear nothing's for free, right? But this is one of these cases where you're going to get free money to spend on board, and it doesn't cost you a dime. You can get a no obligation quote by going to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And of course, we can do this because of that. So go on over there and we'd love to help you plan your magical trip. One last note by way of transparency. Yes, we are all Dreams travel agents. And I think we are asked and we see people comment, can you really be fair? You're travel agents. This is what you do. And yes, we all get paid if you cruise or travel with us. We do this, however, we do this because we're also Disney fans. We love doing this. We love parks. We love the cruise ships. We love all this stuff. And because this is what we do, we watch it very carefully. And we do that work we do the hard work so you don't have to. We're trying to, that's part of our job, both as agents and here. So just getting that out there. Okay, enough with all that. Let's talk itineraries. Elaine, let's start off with there was a whole bunch that we know. Some didn't change all that much and we kind of expected, but some different things. Let's talk about the ones we expected first, that we kind of knew what were going to happen. Let's start with the Wish. The Wish, pretty much doing what it always does, isn't it?
Yes. So the Wish is plotting its same course and staying on track. It's doing 3 and 4 nights, alternating back and forth with the Bahamas. So both of them will have a stop at Nassau and Castaway Cay. And then the 4 nights will also have a day at sea as well. And it's just going to keep doing that and keep doing that. However, there's a couple of little ones in there that are 3 nights that do not include Nassau. and just replaces it with a day at sea, but it's just kind of a few little random ones in there. So pretty much the same thing it's been doing and will keep doing, because those are the kind of the bread and butter cruises at
Right.
Disney Cruise Line. And a lot of people, when they want to do their first cruise, they want to start with a 3 or 4 night to dip their toes in the water. Going out of Port Canaveral, this is a super easy one. Plus, you get to visit Castaway Cay.
Yeah. Castaway Key. You can also, it's an easy way to do we did a couple weeks ago, we did a land sea package. It's a great way to do a couple days at the park, a couple days on the ship. It's a great way to round that up. They leave every Monday is when the 4-night leaves. Every Friday is when the 3-night leaves. So you can just kind of plan that out if you want to do one of those. Federico, the other one is the Disney Treasure, which we got to do together and we loved. Disney Treasure also pretty much doing what we expected.
Yeah, it's not changing. It's doing a 7 nights Eastern or Western Caribbean, also from Port Canaveral, which, as Elaine was saying, is great to do land and sea vacation. And something that a lot of people don't know, we can do that with Universal. If you don't want to do Walt Disney World and then a cruise, or a cruise and then Walt Disney World, you can also do Universal Orlando and add that to a cruise, 3-4 nights on the Disney Wish, or the 7 nights on the Disney Treasure. So it's just 45 minutes away from the parks, which is awesome. And I was there, as Chris says, a couple of months ago now. And
December, yeah,
my
not that long.
yeah, I think it's my new favorite one, the Disney
Yeah.
Treasure. It's beautiful. I
Mhm.
love the Disney Wish. I think it's a beautiful ship, but the Disney Treasure is lovely.
Elaine, the Disney Destiny is going to continue being sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, and by and large, going to continue doing what it's been doing.
Yes, it is
Sorry, it
doing
hasn't even
the.
released yet, so it will be doing what it's doing, right? It needs to
Yeah, that's
have
right.
its christening
Disney's not
first.
even here yet. There's so many ships. Like,
I know.
Disney Cruise Line used to be easy. There were 4 ships. They did what they did, and they never changed. And now we're getting all wild out here. So the Disney Destiny is going out of Fort Lauderdale, and it is doing 4 and 5 nights. And that one does visit the Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. And I'm not going to say the name of the island because we all know I get it wrong every time. And then there's a couple of the Western Caribbeans in there. Okay, there's 2 7-night Caribbeans and a handful of 3 nights. So a lot of people excited about the Destiny. When bookings came out for Destiny last year, that one was actually more popular than the Treasure for me personally. And so I think we'll continue to see the Destiny is very popular. Sailing out of Fort Lauderdale is kind of a way of saving money a lot of times, because a lot of times it can be cheaper than going out of Port Canaveral. So, and if you're worried about getting there, you can still fly into Orlando and take the light rail down. I know that Freddie has done that before and said that it was very easy. Or you can fly right into Miami. So.
And Fort Lauderdale Airport. The nice thing about Fort Lauderdale is it's all right there. The port's like right in town. There is literally one of the Disney hotels. Almost you can see the ship from the hotel. I mean, it's really easy. Hardly you need transportation because you can almost walk there. It's very, very nice, and they have a whole Disney terminal as well that is a fun spot. I've heard some people don't like it as much. I really thought it was pretty good. I thought it was very accessible, and you get off the ship and there's no 45-minute drive. There's like a 12-minute drive to the airport. It's nice and easy. So, and very much looking forward to the very much looking forward to the Destiny, which has that villains hero theme. So be very fun. Federico, did you want to add something?
I want to ask you something. Which one
Yeah.
is going back to the Treasure? Which one do you prefer? The Eastern Caribbean or Western Caribbean?
So part of that depends on the time of year for me. In the wintertime, I like the Eastern because it gets you down to the warmer water faster. Frankly, for me, the Western includes Jamaica, and I don't get off the ship in Jamaica. I just treat that as a sea day, because you've been off the ship for a couple days, so it's nice to have a rest day. And I've done a couple of fun things in Cozumel, so I'm appreciating Cozumel a lot more, and have had a really good time. But I think I lean towards Eastern. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, Eastern as well. Mostly
Yeah,
because I'm from the Caribbean. Well, I'm from Medellin, but I travel a lot to Colombian Caribbean part, and the other side of the Caribbean is more exotic to me.
yeah,
So,
right.
like San Thomas and those types of um, I don't know how to put it. Like they're more like American or European type of
Right. Well,
islands,
one's British Virgin Islands, one's
and
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Cozumel, which is more similar to what we have in Colombia. So I
Elaine, do
like
you
that.
have a favorite, Eastern or Western, or
I have no favorite because I've never done the Caribbean cruise before.
really? Oh my goodness!
I've done all of the Bahamas versions from Port Canaveral and from Fort Lauderdale, and I've done Alaska twice, but I've never done Caribbean. So I have no favorite. So somebody
There you
wants to
go.
step up and take me on a Caribbean cruise, you got
We're
my
gonna have
email.
we're gonna have to fix that. Let's talk about a ship that is doing a bunch of different itineraries, including a southern Caribbean, which is kind of cool. The Disney Fantasy. It's largely going to be out of Port Canaveral, and it's largely doing 3, 4, and 5 night Bahamian cruises out of Port Canaveral. It does have a 10-night Southern Caribbean itinerary that's in July 2026. It has stops at St. Martin, St. Lucia, St. John de Antigua, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Federico, have you done any of these locations? I've been passing through on one of them, but this sounds like a fun trip to me.
I mean, anything that is 10 days, 10 nights on a Disney cruise, you
10
can take
nights on a
me. Like,
Disney cruise, twist my arm. I
I
know.
don't care. I can go
Right.
to whatever. But no, I haven't been there. So that will
Yeah.
be good.
And Elaine, I'm
I
not
just
even
want
asking
to
you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, go.
I do want to say something about this fantasy cruise, though. When they came out with these on the last round, they have been so popular because for
Very popular.
so many people, myself included, they haven't been on the fantasy because the fantasy is only done prior to the treasure of those 7 night Caribbeans. For a lot of people, that just does not work into their budget or their time that they're able to take off work and travel. And so the fact that now that the Fantasy is doing these shorter cruises and they are visiting both Castaway Key and Lookout Key on these cruises,
Right.
they are so popular. And I will tell you, all 3 people on this podcast happen to be going on one of these. Exactly a month from today, we will be debarking from the ship because we're going to be going on one of these 5 nights that visits both the islands, and you guys are going to get so much content because of it.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff coming at you, so it'll be very fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. In fact, before we started, we were platting out our Apollo gatherings. So yeah, and I think Elaine, you're exactly right. There's also a lot of. I'm a crazy Disney person, so you want to have been on all the ships, right? And that is getting harder as there are more ships. This is one that a lot of people haven't done, so this is an opportunity to really get on that ship. And frankly, one of my favorites. I love the fantasy, so very similar to the Dream, but it's it's a second ship. So let's touch on one other that isn't changing much, and I'm just going to pass over it because I'm not passing over it. The Disney Adventure. I'm going to just give it's out of Singapore. So most of us aren't trekking out to Singapore. If you are, let me know. Let's plan that trip. That sounds awesome. The Disney Adventure will continue doing Magic at Sea tours, is what they call them, Magic at Sea out of Singapore. It does 3 and 4 nights Magic at Sea itineraries. So, and it's going to keep doing that. And that one is sold very, very well for them. And so I was looking for a client, and a lot of staterooms filled up. So great. I'm guessing we're going to see more Asia Asia itineraries coming up. Let's get into the new stuff though, and this is called Burying Our Lead. Back when my journalism days, the big news really out of this release is there are not just Disney Cruise Line is doing Alaska, but now not just one ship, but two ships, right, Elaine?
Yes, the Magic and the Wonder, which are sister ships, are both doing Alaska for summer of 2026. I, I think this is going to be. I have mixed feelings. This one, it opens up more availability because these Alaska sailings are very, 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 very popular. And for a reason, they are truly amazing, but they do sell out. And so it does give a lot of limited availability, especially because these are the two smallest ships in the fleet. And so this will open up more opportunity for people to go. Now that there's different ships going and that kind of thing. However, I am disappointed because they didn't add any new ports. They're both kind of doing the same thing. And, that's kind of disappointing to me because while the ports that Disney visits are fantastic, there are other fantastic ports in Alaska. I was able to go to Sitka on a different brand of ship when I went to Alaska this past year, and
This
Sitka's
was a Princess or
amazing.
Royal?
It was on Royal,
Royal. Okay.
and it had a completely different itinerary than my Alaska cruise that I did on the Disney Cruise Line, and Sitka was amazing. We walked through the national forest there, and it was amazing. It was so beautiful. We walked around the entire town. It was great. So, they're missing out on some options. And that's the thing. When you have other brands of cruises that have multiple ships in one place, they're able to visit all of these different ports and give you lots of options. Disney didn't do that. They just they're just doing the same thing. So
It's a great point, Federico. And while the Disney Magic is doing some 5-day itineraries, so it does open things up a little bit. By and large, it's doing the similar itineraries to the Disney Wonder, and even in my view, they're half a step down, not even a half step. They're not in Ketchikan, which is one of your last stops. It won't be. The nice thing about Ketchikan is you're docked right there next to the town. You get off the ship and the town's right there. Well, the Disney Magic is going to be at this Ward dock, which is it's about 15 minutes away. So and there's nothing nearby there. So now oftentimes you're doing itineraries and stuff, but I share Elaine's surprise that they didn't branch out a little bit. That surprised you
Yeah,
at all?
not only the ports where the ship is going to stop, but also the port from the departing port. Because I was expecting, so the thing with the Alaska cruises, I never done it because I don't have a Canadian visa. So for many people like myself who are not U.S. residents, we need a visa to travel to Canada, and it takes time. It's not a difficult visa to get, but it takes time. And since I travel to Walt Disney World like 4 times per year, it's difficult for me to give my passport to an embassy for a couple of months to do that visa. So all of them are departing from Vancouver. And so you're going to need, if you need a visa to Canada, even though the cruise is going to the US, which is, Alaska, you're going to need a visa to get there to Vancouver.
And
So
this
I
is a
was
good
disappointed.
point. This is a good point for U.S. citizens as well. You basically need a passport nowadays to go out of
Oh,
Vancouver.
yeah.
So if you don't have a passport, make sure you get that process started. It can take a little time. There's a lot of paperwork. It's not hard. It just is. It's a pain in the neck. We'll go with neck. And so you need to think about those things and pay attention to the travel requirements, because that's a big thing, and that's the one thing that can keep you from getting on the ship. Frankly, can keep you from getting in the country. So it's a really good point. I believe they do leave out of Vancouver because there's this law that prevents them from leaving in the same. And since all the stops in Alaska are in U.S., they can't. They need a Canada stop, and so they've done Vancouver. By the way, Vancouver, a spectacular city. Loved Vancouver, but.
Can I add one little thing before we move on, since we're talking about
Yeah,
Canada and visa and passports and all of that? If you are considering this, make sure that you also know, if you're going to be flying into Canada, that Canada does have some stronger restrictions than the US. If you have any kind of DUI or anything on your past record, even 10 years ago, they can actually stop you from coming into the country. So
and
make
even if it's a
sure,
misdemeanor, it doesn't have to be a felony because
yes,
they will
yes,
stop you.
they will stop you. And unfortunately, it has been happening a lot that families get there and one person of the family has to go home and everybody else goes on the cruise. So just make sure that you kind of look at that and make sure that you're going to be able to get into the country before you book the cruise.
So overall, Alaska, what I say is Alaska, we did Alaska, as I said, last August. Alaska is an amazing place to visit. It's
Mhm.
incredible for us on a scale of 1 to 10. It was a 14. We had a fantastic time. And on my Instagram, I'm posting a bunch of the things that we did to help you guys plan. As you know, it's always helpful. Somebody has actually done one of the itineraries so you can get a sense. But really, really, it's an amazing place to visit. So highly, highly, highly recommend. And it's
1000% agree.
yeah, and it's also been
1000, 1000, 1000% agree.
one of the places that has seen a lot of growth. So it's not surprising that they're taking 2 ships there. So the last ship, yes, we have so many ships now. This is the first itinerary we have where we have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 ships. My goodness, hard to keep up. The last one is the Disney Dream. The Disney Dream. I'm wearing my Disney Dream of Europe. The Disney Dream is going back to Europe for summer 2026 with a bunch of different length itineraries out of Southampton, England, out of Barcelona, Spain, and out of essentially coastal Rome. I'll never say it right. Cecchia. Federico can probably do.
Civitavecchia.
There you go. Look at how good he is. Anything surprise you out of these ones, Federico?
No, but I'm very excited for the transatlantic cruise because I think I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
So
Nice.
it's a 14 night, and the thing that I'm very excited about is that it has a lot of stops in Spain, which is one of
yeah.
my favorite places in the world. It's going to Cartagena, Spain, not the one in Colombia. It's going to Malaga, which is a beautiful city. It has tons of museums. Is going to Cadiz, which is also a beautiful city, very similar to Caribbean old cities, and then is gonna end in Barcelona. So that one I'm very excited about, and of course there are the traditional Mediterranean, Greek islands, and all these places that we love to go. I would love to go because I've never been there on a cruise. So I'm very excited about that. I was hoping the fantasy will do it because that one is, I prefer the fantasy over the dream in terms of the theming and the decor, but you're going to be in the Caribbean, so it's beautiful anyway.
And it's great. You're spending. I mean, this is one of those locations where we did a Greek cruise a couple of years ago. Started in coastal Rome, and it's fantastic. Definitely one of the things that as you're looking, if you're thinking about doing one of the Greek cruises, there's one that leaves out of Barcelona and takes you all the way over to Greece, does a couple islands in Greece, and then comes back. It's pretty awesome. Does also Italy. I'm wearing my Italy hat, Mickey hat today. And that one sounded delightful to me. Not all of the itineraries stop in Athens. So, and the Athens port is Chiana, Chania. I don't know how you say it. I'm a ugly American, but it's not. If you want to do I wanted to see the Acropolis. It was on my bucket list, so we wanted to do that. So we made sure we got one that stopped in. But all the Greek islands are simply amazing and really really fantastic. And they have some of them are longer. They have 9-night, they have 12-night that are just really quite gorgeous. The other ones that I've also done and are lovely are the Norwegian fjord cruises. And if you just want your head to explode, the fjords in Norway are just beyond the beyond. I would say very similar to Alaska. Curiously, there was less wildlife, but meeting the people in Norway was just absolutely so spectacular. Some of the kindest, nicest people I think I've ever met, and it was. And these towns have the wonderful European feel, and it was just spectacular. Elaine, anything that you particularly picked out of the dreams spending the summer in Europe?
Well, the thing that I was happy about is that they are going to the Greek Isles and the Norwegian fjords, because that was something that I personally was worried about, just because we talked about this on one of our previous episodes, that a lot of these ports are starting to limit or stop cruises from stopping there, just because they don't want to be overrun by cruise
Right.
guests. And so I had been hearing a lot of things about a lot of these ports and was kind of worried that these itineraries are going to come out and those things would be missing. So I was very happy to see them there. I have not had the opportunity to go to Europe yet, but Greece is where I want to go. I really am excited, and one day we'll get to go.
Yeah, it's amazing. Norway was actually doing it for environmental reasons. They were going to limit to only
Mhm.
ships that didn't put out any CO2. So it would be basically, and ships are certainly going that way. The new Disney ships are going to be some of the most environmental out there. So they're definitely thinking about it, but they pushed that back a couple years. So we have a couple of windows to still do the Norwegian fjords, and hopefully all the timing will work out, because it's really really quite spectacular. A couple of things we do want. Oh, the other one I wanted to mention is they have a British Isles itinerary that starts out of Southampton and goes around the British Isles, goes to Scotland, goes to Ireland. That one also just you may catch me on that one for summer 2026. By the way, I have an O birthday in summer 2026, so you'll see me on a lot of Disney ships that summer as I try and deal with the age, an age I didn't think existed, but it does. One other thing that we were talking about visas and stuff, starting actually this coming summer, for both the UK, you have to do it right now for the UK, and coming up, we're watching it, but we expect it will be there for the EU countries as well. You're going to need, they don't call it a visa. It's you have to get an additional layer of check, and you'll have to, and your dreams travel agent will walk you through what you need to do and how you need to go about doing it. It's relatively easy, but don't leave it till the last minute, and definitely do it before you arrive, because otherwise it's going to be an issue. So just realize that additional requirement as you go to Europe in even the year ahead is going to be out there, and you want to pay attention to that and be careful of it. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the process of doing this. I wanted to talk a little bit, Elaine. I always tell my folks that it makes a lot of sense to book these things early. And I know booking them, we're so far away. Summer 2026 feels like, there'll be flying cars around, but it's not that far. But also, if you book now, generally you're going to get the best pricing. I know there's this thing out there that if you wait till the last minute, you're going to get better pricing. Generally on Disney Cruise, that's not the case. And generally, if there is a discounted, it's off the top rate, not off the rate now, and it's going to have some kind of restrictions with it. You're also, if you book now, you're going to get better selection of itineraries, better selection of staterooms, and I get a lot of people who say they really have to have that early dining time, the 5:45 dining time. If you want that, in book early. But I think it makes a lot of sense to book early, because in the end, you put your deposit down, you can get it back if it doesn't work out, if something changes.
Yes, that is the great thing about Disney Cruise Line. The section is concierge. Concierge deposits are non-refundable, but every other category that you book, it's refundable
Yeah.
if you need to cancel before the paid in full date. Another thing, in addition to all of those great points that Chris said, when you are booking this far out, I tell people make sure that you book every person that you think might even want to join you. And the reason that I say that is I have a lot of people that say, oh, well, my son or daughter is going to be graduating or they're getting a new job. We don't know if they can have the time off. We'll add them on later. Here's the problem. When we go to add them on later, one, the price has gone up. So that person that we are adding on is paying that day's rate that when we add them on, not opening day rate. So you're paying more for that person. Two, even though your stateroom says it can hold 5 people and you're just adding on a third person and you say, no big deal, my stateroom holds 5 people. Disney Cruise Line, depending upon how full the ship is, they may say no because of the fact that depending upon lifeboat fullness that you are assigned to, they may cut it off. And especially if you're going to add a kid, if the kids clubs are getting full, they'll not let kids be added on last minute. So there's a lot of kind of factors that fall into play. So I always say that if you think grandma and grandpa might want to come, book them. If all of the kids, book them because we can always remove them with no penalty before we get to the paid in full date. And if we get past paid in full and we need to remove them, there are some steps of refund percentages, but we can also just do a name change and it's only $50. So there's a lot of reasons to make sure you book everybody from the get-go.
Yeah. Federico, the booking window starts coming up, and Disney Cruise Line. Some people get confused by how this works. They go by Castaway Club level. You're in the Castaway Club as soon as you do one cruise line. You don't have to pay for it. It's not an add-on. You do one cruise, you're a Castaway Club member. But there are certain dates that you can book. Do you have those in front of you, or do you need me to read them off?
Yeah, yeah, I do. But the same way you have a problem pronouncing Civitavecchia, I have a
Yes.
I have a problem pronouncing February.
Oh, there you go.
So it
Do you
worked.
want me to
Okay,
do it? I'll do
good.
it.
I'm
So
learning.
it
I'm
is.
gonna listen to you say it 5 times right now.
Yeah. February,
Yeah.
February, February. There you go.
So if you
On
are,
Monday, February.
yeah.
Now I'm thinking about it too much, so I'm going to mess it up. February 10th is for Pearl Castaway Club members. Those are people who have sailed more than 25 times. Crazy. If on Tuesday, the following day, Tuesday, February 11th, that's for Platinum Castaway Club members. Wednesday, that's the 12th of February. That will be Gold Castaway Club members. On Thursday, the 13th of February, that's for Silver Castaway. That's, I believe, up to 1 to 5 cruises. And then the following Monday on February 17th, everyone can book. So that's the day that everyone. And if you're a DVC member or if you've done an Adventures by Disney before, you can book with Silver, even if you haven't Disney cruised before. So there are a couple of affinity groups that get to book early. And if you do have a Castaway Club number, if you have that, awesome. If not, just reach out to your Dreams travel agent. There's a way you can get it on Disney. You can go to disneycruise.com and go down to Castaway Club and log in, and you can get your number that way. But you can also just reach out to us, and we can chase it down for you. So we will need that in order to get you booked to show that you have sailed before. Federico, any other tips and tricks you would tell people? We talked a little bit about booking early. Anything else you tell folks as they're looking at summer 2026?
Just trust us because
Yeah.
sometimes people, like for example, I have clients telling me I want to book on the 10th deck because I want to have the highest view possible. And maybe the 11th deck is a restaurant or public area, and then we know where to put you on the ship in order for you to have the best location and be able to have a quiet, relaxing time. And so sometimes the highest floor or the closest to the elevator is not the best depending on the ship. And since we know most of them, we are going to be able to tell you, okay, so maybe just one floor below is going to be better. So you don't have people moving chairs above your stateroom, and it's going to be a problem if you want to take a nap in the middle of the day.
If you have
So,
kids.
or if you have kids, exactly. So it's good. We always appreciate that you do research and that you know what you want, but sometimes it's listen to us, and we're experts. That's why we do what we do, and we're fans as well, as Chris said. So just have a conversation with us, and we can walk you through the process, and we always try to get what's best for you, even if we
And
don't know how to pronounce February.
it's okay. I can't say one of the ports that it goes to, for goodness sakes. Um, what I always say in terms of that, give us as much information as you possibly can, because that day, it's a busy day. We're booking as many things as we can. If you have a placeholder, that's old, placeholders have to be shifted to Dreams within 30 days, or we can't manage them. I'm sorry, Disney Cruise Line rules. But placeholders, we have to call all of them in. And so we're busy working with those and getting people booked. We're basically going to book things, book the best room we can, given the parameters you've given us. So let us know if you want a high deck, if you want midship, if people have different things. Let us know as much detail as you can so we can get that done. Of course, we can modify it afterwards, but again, the more that we can do up front, the better off we can. Elaine, what do you share with your clients who are eager to get booked?
I agree with everything that both of you have said. My clients know they get the same email from me when we get a cruise release every single time, and it says, "Help me help you." And it is very specific that, yes, put as much information as humanly possible in that quote request form. Don't email it to me, because the
Right.
email is going to get lost. The amount of emails your agent is going to get in the next 2 weeks between all of the confirmations and the payments and the requests and their clients, the emails get very, very fast. So put all of that information in that request form. Sorry, I have a hair that's in my mouth. So that's why I keep pulling at my chin, is I have a hair stuck to my lipstick. Anyways, and what Federico said, trust us, we got you. We unfortunately, we have a lot of people, especially if they're new to working with us, they will put in a quote request, and then that morning they will get up and they will book on Disney Cruise Line themselves,
Yeah.
and then wait to hear from us to see if we got them a different price or whatever. It doesn't really work like that, because once you're booked on Disney Cruise Line, you're booked on Disney Cruise Line. We can't hold a second room in your name. We can't even look at the pricing under your castaway number if you are already booked or you're already in the system. So know that your agent, more than likely, they work the same way that I do. They go through their list and they get everyone booked. Then they start typing out all of the quotes and sending them out, which it may be midday to after lunch before you get that, because they're trying to work as fast as humanly possible, get everyone booked, plus they're on the phone trying to convert all of those placeholders. But I promise we have your best interest in mind, and we are working our absolute tails off for you. So just trust us.
And to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, I mean, this is really a busy time for us, but we're also sharing. So if somebody gets an agent on the phone, we're transferring that to another agent so that another agent can work. So they don't, because there can be a very long wait time on these. But we're honestly doing the best we can. We're going as fast as we can. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Oftentimes, what I tell people is my messages may be short, but the sweetness is implied, because sometimes I'm just literally getting something out. You're booked. I'll get back to you soon, so people have an idea. But we're really, there's a lot of pieces going on. So just be aware that we're doing that. We're not avoiding anybody. We're just trying to get a lot done. So it's a busy. It's been amazing. Our team was letting us know that even getting all these into the form was because all of a sudden there are 7 ships and there's new itineraries that they hadn't done before. So getting all these into our dreams system was an arduous task. So they've been really working on that, and kudos to all of them. And it's the cruise line is growing, so awesome. It's great to see. So anything else you guys want to share about that folks should know that would be good in helping them book? Federico,
I think
you
I got,
have any?
I think
No,
I got
we
out
covered.
everything I needed to say. But
Perfect. Awesome. That's great. We're really excited about summer 2026. As I say, it's a fun time to travel, and I'll tell you, I've taken my son on a Baltic cruise. We've done, and it's a great way for him to be able to experience travel in a way. When we did Greece, he got to see Greece. He had just studied Greece at school. He'd been studying all these things, and all of a sudden, I could see it in his face as it really came alive to him. It's really a fun way to give him a taste, but he always comes back to some place that he feels very safe on those Disney ships and your dining team and all those things. It's a lovely way to travel and a lovely way to, if you have multi-generations and all those kinds of things. So if you need any help, let me tell you how you can get in touch with us. Elaine, how can folks get in touch with you?
my email is Elaine, ELAINE at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And Federico, how can people get in touch with you?
Is my email is Federico at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Federico is FEDERICO at dreamsunlimitedtravel.
Don't type February. That won't work. That won't get to him. And if you want to reach me, Chris V. Yes, there's another Chris, but I'm Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. You can use one of us, but I'll tell you, all the Dreams agents are awesome. When you go in, there'll be a pull down. You can select a certain agent from a pull down menu, or you can all of them are awesome. They're all great. So you'll enjoy your experience. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really, really appreciate that. Depending on where you're watching us, please either like, subscribe, leave us a review. If you have topics for us and you're on YouTube, just leave it down below. We'd love to. I actually look at those YouTube comments. For the person who said I look older, thank you very much. I appreciated that. But just kidding. It was fine. I can handle it. I am old. Or you can, of course, go on the DCL fan Facebook page where there's a whole bunch of people that are talking Disney cruise and very fun. So, and Elaine oversees that. So that's awesome. With that, thanks so much for being here. Happy sailing and safe travels. And we'll see you real soon.